Take a look at the starting lineups for both teams tonight. For Louisiana Tech, we mentioned that Brandy Wingate not in the starting lineup. That means 6'4" junior Kevion Moten will get the start. Otherwise, it's the same cast of characters, although a brand new looking team for the Lady Texers this year, having lost all 5 starters from a year ago. Meanwhile, for Old Dominion, if you were with us on Sunday and saw ODU pick up its first conference win at Charlotte, same exact starting 5, and Jenny Sims, the player you mentioned, LaChina, got off to a very hot start in the conference opener at Charlotte. So Louisiana Tech will start with the ball wearing black. See those signature blue numbers, red shoes. And that is Brooke Pomeroy running the point for the Lady Texters. Now Tiara Davenport driving, offensive foul. Tyler Summit in his second season as the head coach at Louisiana Tech at the ripe old age of 25. Youngest head coach in the country, but of course most very familiar with the coaching pedigree that runs in his genes.
And La Tech coming off of that loss, as you mentioned, and Tyler Summit was happy with how his team performed in some areas. They limited their turnovers, but rebounding was an issue as Southern Miss was plus 21.
8 on the shot clock now for Old Dominion as Carolina Bernardesco tries to get it inside to Young. She scrambles for it, has to fire up a shot. It did hit the rim, but the rebound goes to Louisiana Tech.
And good defense for La Tech. They started out in the zone. They're really concerned about the scoring of Jenny Sims, but also Destiny Young on the interior.
Destiny Young, second leading scorer for Old Dominion, 11 points per game. Little pull-up there from Pomeroy, won't go.
And one of my questions for La Tech as we start this game, they are without their starting point guard of the season, Kiera Anthony, the freshman, who's done an outstanding job. And so can Brooklyn Pomeroy in a shortened guard rotation really make things work?
Great shot, a little too strong. Hoa Paynen getting the rebound for Old Dominion. She was the key player in this matchup a year ago. 26 points off the bench to lead Old Dominion to the win in Ruston. Karen Barefoot in her 5th season as the head coach at Old Dominion, and got a little bit of a chance to see some of the passion that she brings to the game and coaching her team. Wanted them to play on fire.
Intensity, always energetic, really demanding the most from her team. And actually today, Karen Barefoot is actually barefoot. I know we'll get into that a little bit later, but it's for a good cause.
Samaritan's feet, we'll tell you more about that as the game goes on, as Sims takes the baseline jumper, and look who gets the rebound. Brandy Wingate has already checked into the game for the Lady Texters. She quickly finds Moten. Big lineup on the floor right now for Louisiana Tech.
Well, after a couple of empty possessions on offense, Tyler Summit looked at his bench and said, Brandy Wingate, get on in. It has been long enough. I love her game. I mean, she's long. She can finish around the rim. I'd like to see her be more aggressive on the boards.
Now she's aggressive, driving to the basket there, has her shot blocked, gets her own rebound, however. And it'll wind up being Old Dominion basketball. Still no score here.
And that's to be expected, that ODU would really focus in on Wingate considering how she's played. So she's got to make the extra pass tonight. I think she's got to look to her teammates and look to be a facilitator when she's collapsed on.
Tiana Brown trying to get it inside to Sims, but her pass actually glanced off the rim. So quickly the other way is Louisiana Tech. That's Jasmine LeBlanc, the freshman, who just came into the game, and boy, did she use some speed to get down the floor. And they're keys to this game, LaChina.
Yeah, and as LeBlanc looks to get to the rim, transition scoring will be so important for La Tech because of the loss of Kiera Anthony. She usually pushes pace for them, but they still need that scoring in the open floor. And for ODU, I think they're going to have to knock down some threes. Again, as that defense collapses in on Jenny Sims and Destiny Young, they're going to have to look for outside scoring, and I think Kiana Brown is one of them, but also Annika will be an option as well.
LeBlanc, the freshman from Breaux Bridge, Louisiana, being told the crawfish capital of the world, knocks down both free throws for the first points of the game.
She's so strong. I have to do a double take. I can't believe she's a freshman. She is built like a junior or senior in terms of her strength.
Bernardesco will take the three. ODU still without a bucket. And actually neither team with a field goal yet in the game, as those two free throws the only point so far. Slow start offensively.
A couple of careless turnovers so far.
Reminder that with the new format in women's basketball this year, 4 quarters, so you don't get that first media timeout unless one is called until under the 5-minute mark of the first quarter. Drive to the basket by Pomeroy is good.
And that's exactly what Tyler Summit needs from Brooke Pomeroy, is for her to be aggressive, to get to the rim, to create opportunities for her teammates. She transferred in from Marquette to be a leader for this team. That's what they expect.
Brown shot off the mark. Halapainen tried to get the rebound, but it'll go to Louisiana Tech.
Brooke Pomeroy right here, just off of the bounce. It makes a good decision. The defense doesn't totally commit to guarding her. She's been dealing with a knee injury, some soreness there on her knee, so she's missed some time, but said she's trying to get her confidence back and really keep her turnovers down more than anything.
Pomeroy, one of 2 players who followed Coach Tyler Summit here from Marquette, where he was an assistant coach, along with Ashley Santos. Halapainen whistled for the foul, her first.
And that's so important as Tyler Summit is building culture, to have players that buy into what he's about and his philosophy. As you mentioned, those 2 Marquette transfers are 2 that exemplify what he's about.
And correction, that foul against Old Dominion was against Kiana Brown, her first, and Ashley Santos on the line. Louisiana Tech perfect so far, 4 for 4 from the free throw line. It was Old Dominion 0 for 5 from the floor, 0 for 3 from 3-point range.
Very different from that hot 10-2 start at Charlotte.
No question, and a big part of that start was Sims getting to the lane as Young takes a turnaround. Not a lot of offensive rebounds either, LaChina.
And they should be able to get to the board against the zone.
Moten tries to go up and over. Didn't have the finishing touch she needed. Sims pushing the tempo, just lost the handle. And she's understandably frustrated. Louisiana Tech trying to snap that 2-game losing streak. And Old Dominion just happy to be back on their home floor here at the TED. They've been on the road, off, and then on the road.
Both of these coaches have really challenged their teams in the non-conference. They've got difficult schedules. You look at their records, but don't be confused. They've played some tough teams. And there's Jenny Sims getting on the board.
That's what we saw so much of on Sunday on the road at Charlotte. She puts that ball on the floor and heads to the paint. She's tough to stop. Wingate will pull up for the shot. That is a long 2.
Nice face-up game. So smooth. Not as physical as you would think in the low block. She does some face-up scoring. She's got to be active on defense tonight.
Well read defensively that time by LeBlanc, the freshman for Louisiana Tech. Nobody stepped up to guard her, so she decided to take it on her own. And as Michaela Timmons, number 2, freshman from Columbia, Tennessee, who has come in to run the point for the Lady Monarchs. Gianna Smith also in the game, but they find Sims. Sims steps on the baseline out of bounds as we get set to take a break.
Our preseason Conference USA performers are getting it going early.
And gosh, if ever there was a coach perfectly suited to help this charity, it's the aptly named Karen Barefoot.
She's got the perfect name for it. And I just love the display of sacrifice here. You know what I mean? That's not the most comfortable situation to coach a game in, but it's going to bring awareness to a great cause and for good reason.
Nice out of bounds execution by the Lady Texers as they found Wingate wide open, and she's fouled on her attempt.
Coming out of the timeout, that's an important time for a young team. And when I say young, yes, we've mentioned transfers and other pieces for Tyler Summit, but they haven't been playing together for a long time. So that execution is so important.
Pomeroy with the nifty little touch to find Cleaver. Santos kicks it out to Rochelle Vasquez. Santos picks up the rebound, and that gave another opportunity, which Wingate did not miss.
You can't lose her. I mean, if there is one player on the floor that you have to know where she is at all times for Old Dominion defensively, it's Brandy Wingate.
Holopainen finds Smith. Her team trails 10-2 at the moment. Slow start for Old Dominion offensively. 3 on the shot clock as Timmons took the shot. And once again, one and done for ODU on the offensive end.
And that's why one of my keys is they're going to have to hit some outside shots, because that defense for La Tech is collapsing on the interior. They're not allowing for anything high percentage.
Wingate misses. Sims snags the rebound. Sims finds teammate inside. AJ Ajemba could not finish. Talked about out of the new faces how young this Louisiana Tech team is, one of the youngest in the country. Look at those combined starts coming into the season, just 14.
And only 3 returning scholarship players to this roster, and that just speaks volumes, you know, for the youth of this team, but also the bright future as Tyler Summit is piecing this together the right way.
Louisiana Tech leading 10-2 in the first quarter on the road at Old Dominion.
I think La Tech lost something like 338 career starts off of last year's roster. So this team, some of them didn't know each other 5 months ago.
Talk about starting over and rebuilding, no question. It's part of the process that Coach Summit is working on in Ruston. And a turnover. Going to give the ball to Old Dominion. That was Ashley Santos. See if the Lady Monarchs can make something of this opportunity. Sims, nice pass. Destiny Young could not make it go down. They have had a tough time getting the ball in the basket.
They have. And that's a good look against the zone. And anytime you can split the defense, and that was a nice pass by Sims, you got to finish it.
Sims, you'll see her taking players on. She does again. Offensive foul that time, though.
Well, there are 2 things you can do offensively, ODU, right now. You don't want to face that zone. They are last in Conference USA in 3-point field goal percentage. So you either get your scores in transition, or you got to figure out how you can get into the seams. But I did say they need to hit a few threes to loosen up the zone. It's always the best weapon if you can get them to go down.
LeBlanc tries to follow up her own shot, but won't get there as Brown gets the rebound, finds Timmons. Kiana Brown tries to look inside, but Wingate was all over it with those long arms.
Destiny Young is running the short corner. That may be a place to put the basketball.
Brown hits a much-needed 3 and is fouled in the process. Chance for a 4-point play for Kiana Brown.
This is the 3-point weapon that ODU needed. Kiana Brown lines it up off a ball reversal. She leads the team coming into tonight with 22 made 3-pointers. She was a step behind 3, actually. There was a foul call somewhere on the floor as well.
Actually,
they moved it to LeBlanc after the shot.
Out of bounds.
Foul after the shot.
Foul after the shot, so just the 3-point. No chance for 4, but it gives another possession to Old Dominion, so this could work out in their favor anyway.
Look at how open the floor is right around the Conference USA logo. There's Destiny flashing in there. That's right. You got to give it to her. She's got to turn and look to shoot it. She can hit that shot.
And then she gets some space. It's almost like she didn't even think about taking her own shot. Old Dominion has cut this lead to 5 now. It was 10-2 before that 3 from Kiana Brown.
One thing Tyler Summit told us about his team is he said, we're turning the corner on the season. We're not using our youth as an excuse. We were talking about how young this team was coming into the season, but he said, we've played Mississippi State. They've been even with them in rebounds. We've played UCLA tough, some of the best in the country. So we've had those experiences for a reason. Now it's time for them to pay off.
Put it all together, he said. Don't just do one thing well. Do it all well in conference play. There's an offensive rebound that gets the ball to Sims. And then Moten, 6'4", getting up for the rebound for Louisiana Tech.
And that's a shot that would normally go down for Jenny Sims. You're okay with her taking that with 2 feet in the paint.
Sims leading the way for Old Dominion. She'll wait for some help.
Well, in terms of the offense for ODU, Karen Barefoot said, we're better now when we are making good passes, slowing the game down some, not playing too fast. That's the shot that's there.
That time she listened to you, LaChina. Turned around and Destiny Young was rewarded for it. She averages 11 points per game. As look at that, Bernadecco took the ball right back. Old Dominion with a chance to tie with a 3. This was all Louisiana Tech in the early going, but the Lady Monarchs starting to get something going here at the end of the first quarter.
So you found an answer to the zone. Old Dominion has started to put the ball at the high post. Now, Destiny Young has an option of shooting from there, but also passing, which is what she did on that last possession, if you can get position on the interior.
23-21.
EJ Jemba with 2 shots.
EJ Jemba gets a friendly home roll on that free throw. Jemba, the 6'3" junior center.
Ashley Jackson.
Averaging just under 6 points per game. Missed 5 games earlier this season after a 3-game suspension and an illness. No question she had some toughness to that ODU lineup. Louisiana Tech with a chance for the final possession of this first quarter. We'll see what they choose to do. Pomeroy's going to drive to the basket, off the glass and in. Bernadecco, 3 on the clock, takes the shot just short. And that will do it for the first quarter. All of a sudden, it's a 1-point ball game in Norfolk. Louisiana Tech started strong, but Old Dominion found a way to find. Those are big names around those parts. And ODU, you see, 4th. Louisiana Tech 2nd in all-time wins. 2 of 4 programs to have reached that 1,000 win mark. Old Dominion did it earlier this season.
These are 2 programs that started women's basketball. Back when some people didn't believe that women's basketball would ever be where it is now. These 2 programs had to prove that it was a game worth funding, worth putting energies into, worth following. Just love the tradition and what they've built for all of us.
Santos. Wingate is tied up with Kiana Brown. Possession goes the way of the Lady Monarchs.
So Kiana Brown hits that shot, comes back, gets a defensive possession. Good tie up there. Let's see if ODU goes back to that high post and what La Tech does about it.
Brown and Bernadecco passing up top, could not get that interior pass they wanted. Wingate with the takeaway. .15 on the shot clock for Louisiana Tech. Pomeroy looking for the screen. Back to Wingate. 5 now for the Lady Techsters. Vasquez hands it off. Shot by Moten is in time and good.
Good patience. Really good patience there by the Lady Techsters.
It's Ashley Jackson, number 30. Let's come in for Old Dominion. There's that pass to the high post that you said has been a big difference maker for Old Dominion.
And La Tech's got to communicate there. Who's getting the high post? And the thing about the zone is you often have 2 players going to one ball handler. You have to communicate. But here's the ball movement by the Lady Techsters on that last possession. You don't have it, but you don't force it. You find the open man, the easy score. And then on the other end, ODU, once again, going to that high post.
Destiny Young with 4 points in the game for Old Dominion. Vasquez pops it out to Pomeroy. 3-pointer's good.
Brooke Pomeroy was thrown into the fire when she first arrived at Marquette. You're talking about a kid that's got experience. At point guard, she was playing against UConn and the Louisvilles and Notre Dames of the world, and she learned a lot from that experience, and it's valuable for this young team.
Started 63 of 64 games in her time at Marquette. And then with Coach Summit leaving and the head coaching change, both she and Ashley Santos opting to come here as another 3-ball goes down, this time by Vasquez. And with that, she has 7 points in the game. She was Louisiana Tech's leading scorer in their Conference USA opener, loss to Southern Miss. She had 14 points in that game, was 2 of 6 from 3.
And that momentum helps you. And keep in mind that La Tech is without their starting point guard, Kiera Anthony, who leads them in assists. So Brooke Pomeroy has to do more. But speaking of do more, here comes ODU.
And Annika Halapainen probably gave Louisiana Tech nightmares after last year's matchup. Great passing, though, not showing any ill effects that time as Jasmine LeBlanc gets her first field goal of the game. Halapainen last year in the matchup against Louisiana Tech was absolutely a huge factor in the game. 26 points after she'd scored 27 points in the previous 24 games of the season.
Sometimes the number's called and you are ready to go. Halapainen is a transfer from the University of Portland, and Karen Barefoot said she is the X factor that has really stepped up for this team. And if she can start to knock down the shot like she did on that possession, teams will not be able to zone ODU. We already know they're dangerous in the paint.
Halapainen coming off a 16-point effort in the win over Charlotte. Young fouled as she goes to the basket.
Good challenge at the rim, but I like Destiny Young being aggressive. You can't let the zone keep you out of your aggressive mindset. The zone is built to kind of make you stand around and be passive. And I like that Destiny Young went right to the rim on that.
32.
Young misses the first free throw. 72% free throw shooter on the season.
Well, we talked to Destiny Young today about her new role as a go-to scorer on this team, and she said it's really been her work in the summer between her freshman and sophomore year. She worked on her body and conditioning between her sophomore and junior year. She worked on her nutrition, eating better.
Beautiful setup by Pomeroy for Moten.
And ODU has got to get Brooke Pomeroy under control. You've got to get back in transition and try to make her give up the ball. She's making very good decisions right now.
Timmons tries to find Brown, not far from where Kiana hit that three, but this time it goes out of bounds.
Brooke Pomeroy coming down the floor, and she's able to drag 3 defenders with her, but no one actually was guarding the ball. So the right idea, but you've got to communicate and make sure you stop the basketball and also get the person furthest back. You've got to go to the basket to defend it.
7 points, 2 assists for Pomeroy as she takes the 3 and hits it, her second of the game.
You mentioned, Jen, she's coming off of a very good performance against Southern Miss, so she's got confidence.
Now double digits for Pomeroy, 10 points in the game. The lead is 12 for Louisiana Tech. This ball will remain in Old Dominion's possession, and this a moment ago, Pomeroy knocking down the 3.
Good use of the screen by Brandy Wingate, and Brooke Pomeroy doesn't sense the defense is coming out to defend her. It's a very good read off of the screen.
Pomeroy has hit 22 three-pointers this season for the Lady Techsters. Meanwhile, Old Dominion has had trouble taking care of the basketball. 10 turnovers in the game so far. 4 on the shot clock now. Bernadecco has to hurry. She finds Sims, drives to the basket, has to pull up. She did get the shot off. Holopainen still fighting for the rebound. Then commits the foul.
And that's what Tyler Summit wanted to see from Brandy Wingate. That effort there. She took on 3 Lady Monarchs to get the call on that rebound.
So interesting, Tyler Summit talking to us about how he has to really manage and monitor the time, both for Wingate and for Pomeroy. Both have been dealing with some injuries. This is only practice about half the time. But he needs them at full speed come game day. Vasquez drives to the basket.
Speaking of injury, that's where Rochelle Vasquez has been able to get some extra minutes because of injuries in the backcourt for La Tech. So she's got a chance to get into a little bit of a rhythm, and she's having a pretty good evening so far.
Vasquez has hit a 3. And the free throw. And as a bonus, it was Holopainen who committed that foul, her second. Good way to keep somebody from hurting you is to get them in foul trouble, of course. So Vasquez hits them both 5 points in the game for the junior transfer from Gulf Coast State College.
Look at how much space there is behind that zone. Look at how high it is.
So how do you beat that if you're Old Dominion?
You've got to get to that back line. Go to the short corner. At least let the ball touch there, which will then make the zone collapse. And you can pass it out.
Sims on the pass out. Too strong. Ashley Santos. Now Wingate. Brandy Wingate pulls up for the shot and hits it. 6 points for the preseason All-Conference USA pick.
That mid-range game is beautiful by Wingate. It's a face-up, a nice shot. Many players don't work enough on the mid-range game, if you ask me. A little short jumper.
Meanwhile, Old Dominion in some danger, it seems, here, China, trying to keep this within reach. Young turns around. Shot is short, but the rebound goes to the Lady Monarchs. Ashley Jackson with 2.
Find a way to get into the paint. And that last possession, prior to that, Jenny Sims took a 3. Well, she shoots 28% from long range, so you've won defensively if you can get her to shoot from the outside. You got to find a way to get it on the interior.
Sims 1 for 5 from the floor in this game. As Moten turns around, brought the ball down and was fouled.
Well, first you start with Brandy Wingate for La Tech. Good elevation. She's long and got that face-up game. And then Ashley Jackson just making her presence felt, using her strength with a good finish over tall defenders on the inside.
Jackson committed that last foul. Send Moten to the line.
Jackson only 5'9", so the fact that she went in there amongst the trees and snagged that one says a lot for her heart.
That was the first miss from the free throw line for the Lady Texters tonight. Moten makes good on her second chance. 32-17, the lead for Louisiana Tech, a team coming off a loss in its Conference USA opener on the road at Southern Miss by 10. And now on the road at Old Dominion as Pomeroy checks back into the game. Louisiana Tech picked 9th in the Conference USA preseason poll. Old Dominion picked 2nd. Mentioned a great history at Louisiana Tech, one that Tyler Summit well aware of from his days growing up with his mom coaching at University of Tennessee.
He said those battles he circled on his schedule whenever La Tech and ODU were going to play each other. Nice move into the paint by Jenny Sims, but those were the days. Kim Mulkey and Coach Barmore, obviously, who had great success there. And there is the Lady Texter right there, Mickey DeMoss, who was actually on the first ever team at La Tech, went and begged that they would start a women's basketball program, so she was their first point guard. Back in Sandra Hogue, the head coach there.
And what a get for Tyler Summit to get the woman who for so many years stood by the side of his mom at Tennessee, and Mickey DeMoss
has had her own success, coaching success, most recently a championship in the WNBA. Yep, alongside Lynn Dunn, another pioneer in the game.
And Mickey made a point to tell us how well she was moving around when she was at shoot-around earlier today. She looked good, didn't she?
I'm telling you, on that scout team, I couldn't believe it. They said she was just showing out because we were here. I said I should take a picture of this and send it to a few of your friends, Lynn Dunn and Carol Ross, that whole crew, Nell Fortner.
Meanwhile, back-to-back baskets by Jenny Sims, both of them in the paint. She's looking strong. 6 points in the game now for Sims.
And that's what you need your star player to do, to take over in a game like this and to find a way to score.
Final 2 minutes of the first half as travel against Louisiana Tech and the freshman Rihanna Sweets-Cleaver.
And what's happened here is as ODU has gotten score, they've been able to get back to defend. You remember earlier on, Brooke Pomeroy was finding scoring in transition and early in the shot clock. Well, if you've got a chance to get back because you're scoring, it helps your defense.
Raven Kemp in the game for Old Dominion, number 0. Sims tried to make it 3 in a row. She doesn't, but the rebound is up and good by Ojemba. Timeout, Louisiana Tech, as Old Dominion has cut into this lead by the ladies. Old Dominion has cut Louisiana Tech's lead to single digits now, 9 points. We'll see what Pomeroy and the Lady Texters come up with out of the timeout. The crowd here frustrated with that foul call. We had Coach Karen Barefoot mic'd up before the game. Good thing it's not on her now. Let's hear what she had to see her team then.
Offensively, we got to be aggressive but patient. We got to pound the ball inside. We have to have paint points, whether it's off penetration or post feeds. That's what we've been working on, okay? We got to do the little things that matter. We got to have each other's back.
Got to have each other's back. Get those paint points, LaChina. They've gotten a couple of those as Brooke Pomeroy converted both free throws. Louisiana Tech, one of the top free throw shooting teams in Conference USA. They ranked 4th as a team.
Karen Barefoot is talking about toughness scoring. And that's what they've been doing off the second chance baskets, going to the board, getting a rebound, putting it back in. And La Tech is well aware of the fact that ODU wants to get in the paint. That's why they're in zone.
Kemp puts it in the hands of Jenny Sims, Conference USA Player of the Week.
Now the Lady Texters are in a man-to-man defense.
Kemp will drive it herself to the basket. Sims with the rebound, and easy put back for her.
As we were going to that last break, Tyler Summit looked at his team and said, we have to box out. Trying to send a message. We just lost to Southern Miss in our first league game because we were out-rebounded by 21. Doesn't want that happening again.
Old Dominion has certainly made the most of their second chance opportunities down the stretch. Wingate has it, drives with the left hand, foul before the shot.
Jenny Sims is not just all about putting the ball in her hands and scoring on offense. She'll get to the glass, too. The reigning Conference USA Player of the Week with a sweet putback.
Sims averaging 18.4 points per game. That's second in Conference USA. She has 8 in the first half here.
Tremendous rebounder, scorer. She was talking to us about transferring here from West Virginia and said, you know, after playing for Boo Williams' AAU program, there were so many people in this area that I trust. And she said she wanted to get back around people that she trusted, that she remembered from those days. She played alongside Miami's Adrian Motley back in those AAU days, so she was really happy to come here in familiar territory.
And Louisiana Tech continues to be especially proficient from the free throw line. They've just missed one in the entire game. 11 of 12 are the Lady Texters. There is Sims driving to the basket. Her basket won't go, but she will get some free throws.
So some full court pressure there from La Tech, just switching things up defensively. But watching Jenny Sims, she reminds me a little bit of Angel McCautry. You know, Angel has a knack, WNBA All-Star, as you know, and Olympic gold medalist, but she has a knack for finding the seams in the defense. She can find the smallest sliver, and Sims puts that free throw in, and she can get into the paint. Same way Jenny plays.
And I really like what Karen Barefoot said. She said, you know what, people think that she is selfish, and she's not. You watch her play, and you see that she's not. She said she'd rather set up her teammates.
Yeah, watching her against Charlotte, I was like, I want her to take more shots.
Big rebound there for Ashley Jackson. Sims gets the ball again. Passes off, that time to Young.
Oh, boy. And Ashley Jackson has come off of the bench and really been a hustle factor. Doesn't get that one, but she was on the glass on the run.
10-point lead for Louisiana Tech. 20 seconds to go in this first half. Roy trying to work off the screen, and they're going to call Wingate for the foul.
La Tech has scored 11 points off of turnovers in this game, so their defense has helped them with offense. But in the last few minutes, they have not been able to get those stops. And not only that, but they've given up good position on the glass.
So let's see what Old Dominion can do here. The final seconds of the first half. Sims with the ball. 3 defenders in front of her. Her shot is good. 10 points is where we will stay the lead for Louisiana Tech with China. The Lady Texters able to hang on to the lead most of this first half.
Yeah, they got off to a good start, and I thought that they got key contributions across.
The players you wanted to watch with China, here's how they've done so far.
Yeah, Brandy Wingate responding to the challenge in this game, and then Jenny Sims, as we mentioned, started to find a few seams against the zone, and starting off this possession with Old Dominion in a man-to-man.
Quick shot for the Lady Texters by Tiara Davenport. 6-foot sophomore did not score in the first half, picked up a couple of fouls.
An interesting change to start the second half. It's Michaela Timmons instead of Carolina Bernadecco at that point guard spot.
There is Timmons with the ball. The freshman finds Sims. Finds Holopainen in the corner. Her shot is short. Roy led all scorers with 12 points in the first half.
And look at the defense of the freshmen. That may be a reason for this change, is Michaela Timmons getting into Brooke Pomeroy. And keep in mind for Old Dominion, as the ball gets stuck there, worst place. My old partner Bob Rathbun calls that a wedgie. But
I'm going to leave that to Bob. I like it, though.
Well, and it's interesting. I talked to Bob Rathman, who used to call games here at Old Dominion back in his early days as a broadcaster. And, boy, he has fond memories of the rivalry and how great of a time it was for women's basketball and the growth of the game. And he was talking about how Nancy Lieberman was so good that they got to play at the Garden to get her back home and some of those exciting days in our game.
Nancy Lieberman, one of several Hall of Famers for Old Dominion, as Sims connects.
Well, what happened in that possession is Jenny Sims made the defense shift. They rotated the ball, and on rotation, she found an opening on the interior. I think Bob's been calling games since he's 15, by the way. Maybe 14.
Looks even younger than Tyler Summit over there, the head coach for Louisiana Tech, youngest head coach in the country.
Nice drive there by Ashley Santos with the score on the baseline.
Now, she just had a couple of free throws in the first half. That was her first field goal as Timmons answers with her first points of the game. Roy loses the handle. Jump ball. And that'll go in favor of Louisiana Tech. Just mentioned Tyler Summit. 25 years old. Not even close, really, as the youngest head coach in the country.
I remember walking into the gym at Marquette and seeing him for one of the first times as an assistant there, and I was like, wow, he's got the gene. I mean, excellent at player development, really confident, has great player relationships, which helps. And here comes Brooke Pomeroy. Speaking of Marquette, the transfer, having an outstanding night.
14 in the game now for Pomeroy. One of the captains for this Louisiana Tech team. As Sims, what a tough finish.
That was not easy. And ODU is picking up defensively here in a 1-2-2. They're trying to generate more offense.
Davenport. A little bit off. Moten with the rebound. Didn't follow her shot, though, and Holopainen calls it in.
Brandy Wingate at the table, waiting to check in.
Holopainen had the hot hand in this matchup last year. 26 points in the game, including the game-winning three with under 2 seconds on the clock, but shot seemed a little off in the second half.
Well, the outside shot is not a high percentage look for Old Dominion. They want to get it to the paint, so early in the shot clock, they at least need to work it around and try to get in there.
Moten gets it out to Vasquez. 3-second call against the Lady Texters.
Jenny Sims here off of the bounce, using the glass. That is not easy, as she read the defender and knew she had the advantage. La Tech looking for the charge there, but she elevated just in time.
The lead, 8 points for Louisiana Tech. Timmons gets it into Young. Destiny Young just 2 for 10 from the floor in the first half as good crossover. Step on the other end for Jasmine LeBlanc, the freshman.
Bright future for Jasmine LeBlanc, as I mentioned. She has a very strong frame, already built like a junior or senior. And this is a talented freshman class for actually both of these teams.
LeBlanc with 4 points, 4 rebounds in the game. 5 points now. The youngest of 7 in her family is LeBlanc, and very proud of the fact. First one to get a scholarship to college.
So amazing what an athletic scholarship can do.
And there you go. Maybe that's why she looks so tough. She's the baby, youngest of 7. Yeah, she came out having to fight for everything, right?
I was one of 15 children to graduate from college in my family, and basketball had everything to do with it.
Well, you know all about that then. Where'd you fall in that? Somewhere in the middle?
Yeah, somewhere close to the bottom, but not close enough to be the baby. That's what I want to be. The youngest or the oldest. That's where the action is.
A lot of action for Jenny Sims right now. 6 points in this third quarter. She has 15 in the game.
Just knifing through the defense's Sims.
Wingate trying to answer on the other end and does.
Both of these teams right now offensively taking advantage of the defense early on in possessions.
Both Sims and Wingate preseason all-conference USA picks. Sims will drive with the left hand, switch over to a right, foul on her way to the basket.
Going back to that last offensive possession for La Tech, it's early in the clock, but against that pressure, if you can get to the backside of that defense, Old Dominion's been picking up, trying to create turnovers. Once you get it past that front line of defense, you can get a layup.
Brandy Wingate, who did convert that last basket, 6'2", senior for Louisiana Tech. Father David, an NBA veteran of 15 years, an All-American and national champion at Georgetown.
She looks like him. That's the first thing I thought when we started talking to her today. I said, okay, that face looks familiar.
How about the game? You think she's got some of her dad's game, too?
Oh, yeah. That's why she's preseason All-Conference USA. And that's not easy to take this role after being a reserve last year.
Wingate was the Conference USA 6th player of the year last year, as there are now 5 seconds on the shot clock for Sanchez and the Lady Texters. She'll drive, try to get over 3 defenders and can't do it. ODU, chance to cut it to 6, and Young cannot get the layup to go down. Destiny Young has had a tough go of it, but you get the sense Old Dominion's going to need her to keep up with Louisiana Tech. Competition character, and talk about a guy who grew up around basketball. He knew exactly what he wanted to do to build his program.
Absolutely. Tyler Summit is going about doing this the right way, not the fast way. That's the important thing to understand, is he wants players that have character. It's about what they represent on and off the court, and so he's doing something that'll be long-lasting, and so it takes a little bit of patience, but he's got the right blueprint.
Right now, Louisiana Tech in search of its first conference win of the season. Nice drive to the basket by the freshman, Jasmine LeBlanc. You get the sense talking to Coach Summit that LeBlanc, one of those players he thinks can really break out for him, and Jenny Sims finding a lane to the basket.
There's been no answer. No one really in help position defensively on Sims.
And Sims the other way, trying to draw the foul, and she does. Offensive foul against Louisiana Tech.
Well, first on offense, Jenny Sims loses the defense on the way to the cup, and then defensively here, gets back in time. Now, that's not easy to do. You score the basket on one end, and then you get back and take the charge on the other. That's why she's a star player.
Sims cannot get it that time. And Brown had a little trouble getting the loose ball, but it is a timeout called by Old Dominion. ODU within 8. Correct about this rivalry?
I did. She said their greatest matchups were with Janice Lawrence and Kim Mulkey and the Dennis Rodman sisters back in those AIAW days. And she said we were small schools playing big-time balls. She said the crowds in Ruston were great, but obviously ODU fans were a part of it too. And she mentioned Marianne Stanley, of course, who was their head coach, and that Sonja Hogg and Gary Blair, Leon Barbour were assistants there at La Tech. So just great to hear those that played during that time sharing their memories.
There were a lot. I know you were telling me some of the other comments you got this week, and there were a lot of colorful comments in there. Nobody remembers this in watercolor. It's all very vivid memories.
Debbie Williamson, who's the coordinator of officials, Big East and American Athletic Conference, played on those Kim Mulkey teams, and she had some interesting memories through those times. Heard that live tag. It was a tough one.
Destiny Young had trouble on the offensive end, just 2 of 12, but made sure her team got that rebound. But China, what do you think Old Dominion needs to do to get over the hump a little bit? They've gotten it within 8. They just can't seem to close that gap anymore.
Yeah, it seems like every time they get on a run, they start to give up easy baskets. I think transition defense is going to be critical. And that was something that I didn't think they did particularly well at Charlotte. They did win that game, but I thought defensive transition, not enough communication.
Good hands that time by the Lady Monarchs to break that pass up from Wingate, who was trying to look inside for Rihanna Cleaver. Not only did Old Dominion break it up, they got the ball. Sims will take it, kicks it out to the corner. Brown for 3. DJ Ajemba fighting for the rebound, jump ball.
And that's good offense. I mean, Jen, you were asking, that's a shot that you can hit.
Now, Old Dominion has had trouble hitting from 3. 2 of 12 for the game. Really struggled from downtown. Closer in that time for Ajemba as Young taps the rebound and out of bounds. Louisiana Tech ball. And I'm just watching Jasmine LeBlanc, number 22 for Louisiana Tech, run back in front of us. She seemed very happy about that call. Meanwhile, Young frustrated that she thought perhaps should have been Lady Monarch basketball. There's LeBlanc. Thought about that 3 for a minute. She's 3 of 11 from the season from 3. 6 on the shot clock. Drive the basket by Vasquez. Now 3 on the shot clock, no foul. Ball just went out of bounds off of Old Dominion. Three seconds, time enough to catch and shoot. Off the inbounds, no chance. Good job defensively by ODU. Sims driving the baseline. And Brandy Wingate knew exactly where she wanted to go with that ball.
And you got to credit La Tech's defense. They've been active, gotten tips and deflections. We mentioned their points off turnovers earlier, and you don't always get the stat for deflections and tips, but that helps.
Old Dominion just 2 for their last 10 from the floor. On the shot clock for Raven Kemp.
La Tech is face guarding Jenny Sims right now.
2 on the shot clock. They have to hurry. They get the shot off in time. Good battles for the offensive rebound for Old Dominion. LeBlanc will take it. Sims with the rebound.
LeBlanc has been active on the offensive end.
Sims for 3 is short. Nobody really in position to grab the rebound that time. Good shot.
And again, that's a lower percentage shot for her.
See if somebody can break the drought. Both teams have gone scoreless for over 3 minutes now in this third quarter. 10 on the shot clock for Louisiana Tech. And that foul is going to go against the Lady Techsters. Humroy picks up her second.
They called a moving foul, I believe, on Brandy. Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Maybe a little more.
Yeah, we would have to take another look at that. I thought it was maybe on the screen.
That was my initial thought, but Humroy, the one charged with the violation. So the shot clock is off. Old Dominion with the basketball and a chance to cut it to 6 here. 5 with a 3. Sims to Young. She turns towards the basket, is fouled, and we get a couple of free throws.
That's what we need more from Old Dominion. There's one double-figure score right now, Jenny Sims. She needs some help.
Holopainen was one who had 16 points in the last game against Charlotte. Young averages in double figures.
Young is 2 for 13 from the field, and she's got to do better. She is talented on the offensive end.
And right now, Jenny Sims with 19 points, and the rest of the Old Dominion team with 19 points. Empty trip to the free throw line for Young. Davenport has it, loses it. It'll stay Louisiana Tech basketball. 2.4 seconds on the clock. They get the ball inbounds to Wingate. Her shot doesn't go, so we stay the score 46-38 in favor of Louisiana Tech. Both teams going a little cold here toward the end of the third quarter. We've got 1 quarter to go. Offense go, LaChina Robinson scoring at a premium as we didn't have any for over 4 minutes in that third quarter. You get a look at the game summary. 8 points the lead for Louisiana Tech as we head to quarter number 4.
Yeah, slow to a screeching halt. And when you have 2 coaches coming out of the locker room at half, making adjustments, taking away the options that you want on offense. Let's see what they've got here in the fourth quarter.
Pomeroy with just 2 points in the second half. She had 12 to lead all scorers in the first. 10 on the shot clock for Davenport. Now 5. She'll drive to the basket herself.
Good defensive possession for ODU to start the fourth quarter.
Kemp continuing to run the point for ODU as Carolina Bernardecco stays on the bench, and Jenny Sims gets the first basket of the fourth quarter.
La Tech had started face guarding Jenny Sims and denying her the ball and any opportunities. Don't be surprised if they go back to that.
21 points in the game for the Conference USA Player of the Week. Wingate makes that look so easy.
That's a great face-up game. Elevation, keeps the ball high, so silky smooth.
She has 12. Been stuck at about an 8-point difference between these two teams for much of the second half as Old Dominion whistled for the foul against Ajemba.
Well, Jenny Sims just goes airborne with a nice move on the baseline, and Brandy Wingate, face-up game, pull-up jump shot, money. That's what you want to see from your star players in a big conference matchup.
This is the second conference game for both teams. Louisiana Tech losing on the road to Southern Miss. Old Dominion picking up a win at Charlotte on Sunday. Raven Kemp whistled for the foul. That's her third. I was making the point, it is interesting we haven't seen much of Bernardecco.
Well, I think defensively, Karen Barefoot is trying to make sure they've got Brooke Pomeroy covered. And so she's put a couple of options out there instead of Bernardecco that can give them better defense on the ball, like Kemp.
And Bernardecco, a freshman. And this could be trouble because Kemp whistled for the foul. That's her fourth. She just picked up 2 quick fouls. She is a junior, a transfer from Eastern Florida State. And she's going to stay in the game, at least for now. Now Bernardecco comes to the scorer's table.
That's another thing, is ODU has missed Carolina Bernardecco. I thought she did so many things well at Charlotte. And keep in mind, this is a young backcourt for Karen Barefoot. Both freshman options that we saw in that win at Charlotte with Michaela Timmons and also Carolina Bernardecco. So there's a learning curve at that position.
And sometimes that learning curve can be toughest on the defensive end, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you're playing against a savvy veteran like Brooke Pomeroy.
Bernardecco quickly picks up a foul. Old Dominion having some trouble on the ball handler. Vasquez picks up her dribble. Now Wingate.
Oh, nice sweep and go. That's just a great move. That's a pro move.
14 points for Brandy Wingate.
When she faces up, she loses you with that fake. She's very patient.
Wingate is 6 of 10 from the floor. Ajemba grabs the rebound.
If you're Old Dominion, every rebound has to be yours. Go back to that last score by Brandy Wingate. Nice sweep and go. She's so patient. When she faces the basket, she's reading the defense. Not afraid to make a fake. A nice basket.
Ajemba just short off the inbounds. Bernadecco comes back up with it. Finds Sims for 3. Cannot get it to fall. Old Dominion 2 of 15 from 3. Meanwhile, Wingate just continues to have the hot hand for Louisiana Tech.
This is a player that had 25 points against Mississippi State, 17 points and 12 rebounds against UCLA, and 22 at Arizona. She's not scared.
16 points for Wingate. Conference USA is Karen Barefoot's Old Dominion Lady Monarchs preseason picked to finish second in the conference. Louisiana Tech picked 9th. After losing all 5 starters from a team that finished 10-8 in Conference USA, 9-7 in the regular season a year ago.
Well, you never know what's going to happen, as we see. I mean, look at how well UTEP is playing, receiving votes in the poll. Keitha Adams has her team playing outstanding defense. And North Texas was picked 14th, but Jaylee Mitchell off to a great start in her first year after knocking off a ranked Oklahoma team early on.
Ashley Jackson hitting for 2 as Sims slides out of bounds, but gets up with a smile on her face.
Good basket out of the timeout. That gives you some confidence, some momentum if you're the Lady Monarchs.
Now ODU just looking for that stop on defense. Timmons had her fingertips on the ball. Rochelle Vasquez and Brooke Pomeroy in the backcourt for Louisiana Tech.
And Old Dominion is in a zone.
Vasquez drives with her left hand around and in.
Zone look there, and Vasquez came up with a tough one.
Sims passes it off. Young eventually comes up with it. 10 on the shot clock. Sims takes the shot herself. Too strong.
You're happy with that. If you're Tyler Summit, let Jenny Sims shoot from outside all she wants. And that's not a disrespect thing, but you got to pick your poison with her. You know she's good in the lane.
And now she draws an offensive foul from Vasquez.
Keep the dribble alive, not afraid of what looks like the defense collapsing, and that's a nice bucket right in the paint for Vasquez.
The lead now 12 for Louisiana Tech.
Rochelle Vasquez, a junior college transfer from Gulf Coast State College. Playing big minutes without Kira Anthony.
Jackson around and in, gets that home court roll for the bucket.
She's been solid. I like the minutes today from Ashley Jackson. She has made some big momentum plays.
6 points in the game for Jackson as Louisiana Tech is forced to call a timeout, but the Lady Techsters still. How about Charlotte rebounding from their loss against Old Dominion, putting up 80 on Southern Miss in the win. FAU over Marshall. Western Kentucky in a close one in the fourth quarter with FIU, and then UTSA and UAB just getting started.
Yeah, that is a big bounce-back win for Charlotte, and especially the way the freshman Caitlin Jenkins has been playing. She was National Freshman of the Week. She's going to be a problem.
Yep, Southern Miss Caitlin Jenkins was a huge factor in their win over Louisiana Tech.
Once again, out of the timeout, La Tech gets to score. And that's important. Good execution.
Airballs that attempt. Tries to pick the pocket of Wingate. Easy foul for the referees to call on the open floor. Second foul on Jenny Sims.
Jenny Sims, her second. Team fifth.
25 to 2. Just 16 points to 2 to 1.
Brandy Wingate with 2 shots.
Wingate hits her free throw. Free throw is a big factor in this game. Louisiana Tech 14 of 15 from the line. Make it 15 of 16.
Have to knock down your free throws on the road and also limit your turnovers. Turnovers have been a big thing for La Tech this season. They've got 15. That's rather high.
Old Dominion trying to find the best option. Simmons took the shot. Halapainen trying to get the rebound. Jump ball called. Lady Monarch basketball.
A lot of Old Dominion struggles today have had to do with that point guard spot, going back to that. And you need your point guard to get you shots against defense. You need your point guard to slow down a Brooke Pomeroy, who's your adversary on the other side in that position tonight.
Saw Raven Kemp come off the bench and really get that defensive assignment against Pomeroy. Did pretty well against her in the second half. Pomeroy with just 1 field goal in the second half, but now Kemp in foul trouble and on the bench. Sims off the curl, drives the lane, gets an unfriendly roll, but will get a couple of free throws. And Sims, a 62% free throw shooter on the season.
Jenny Sims with 2 shots.
She's 3 of 4 from the line tonight. Sims short, and Ajemba had it in her fingertips, just couldn't quite hang on as Jenny Sims with an 0 for 2 trip to the free throw line. One of those small details, China, that could be important. Old Dominion 6 of 12 from the line. Louisiana Tech 15 of 16.
Playing the zone has really kept La Tech from having to defend screens and be in fouling situations. So it was an effective scheme for them.
And now Old Dominion is in the bonus. They've committed that minimum of 5 team fouls, so that means it'll be 2 free throws every time a foul is committed for Louisiana Tech. Those team fouls reset each quarter now, and once team gets to 5, there is no more 1-and-1. It goes right to that double bonus, if you will, 2 free throws. And the way Louisiana Tech's been shooting them, that's trouble for Old Dominion. Young gets it inside to Ajemba. Turnaround, tough shot, and fouled.
And Jenny Sims now taking over that leadership role at the point guard. Big lineup in the game here for Old Dominion.
Ajemba, this is one area she really needs to pick things up. She's 2 for 2 in the game from the free throw line, but came in shooting just 35% from the line for the season, 8 of 23.
Picked up basketball rather late. You were impressed by what her first sport of choice was, huh?
You don't often, you see 3-sport athlete in high school, you don't often see football as one of those sports. And I said, well, was she the kicker? Nope, she was a defensive end.
Oh, that's tough.
Love it.
That is toughness.
And she follows up, tries to get her own rebound. She doesn't, but she got it to Young. Now the shot from Jackson, that would be a 2. Didn't count anyway. A lot of pressure being applied by Old Dominion right here, and then finally Louisiana Tech calling a timeout. Have you gotten a chance to see some of those teams in the top 10 with China?
I have. I actually called a UConn game. I've called a Notre Dame game. You're talking about Gino Auriemma and Muffet McGraw, two of the best to ever do it. Muffet just amassed 800 career wins, which puts her in a very elite group of the best coaches ever to coach the game.
And once again, excellent execution off the timeout, off the inbounds. We've seen that several times in this game from Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, Tyler Summit's young team growing up right before our eyes. Perfect execution, the pass over the top to Wingate, who Old Dominion hasn't had an answer for Brandy Wingate all evening.
Well, she missed the free throw, but she has 20 points in the game, 8 of 12 from the floor.
And what Tyler told us is this team is starting to learn their roles and understand how they can play together. He goes back to their UCLA game, which they didn't win, but he said, we saw then that we could compete against some of the best teams in the country, and they started to turn the corner despite the loss in their first conference game.
And Tyler Summit took over this Louisiana Tech program. He took over after the first 2 losing seasons ever in Louisiana Tech women's basketball history. Got him back in the right side of 500 last year. And look at this excellent effort from Kiana Brown. She hit the 3, then she gets the steal. How about another 3 for Brown? That one won't go. Destiny Young commits the foul.
Old Dominion's now 3 for 20 from long range, and that was the game plan for La Tech. I mean, when you're in the zone, you're saying, hey, we're daring you to knock down three-pointers. We're going to take away the lane. And Lady Monarchs have taken more threes than I would think they should have on the offensive end, considering a low percentage.
Freshman Jasmine LeBlanc misses on her first free throw attempt. She's just a 500 free throw shooter. Got to get those numbers up to keep up with her teammates who've been shooting it very well.
We talked about the talented freshman in La Tech. LeBlanc showing what she can do tonight, but they've already had 2 Conference USA Freshmen of the Week, and Rihanna Cleaver and also Kiera Anthony.
And Sims continues to dribble around. Finally gets the shot off, but Wingate gets the rebound. She's fouled by Young.
Frustration foul there by Destiny Young. It is been a tough night for her. 2 for 13 from the field, and after such a great game against Charlotte.
A great week, really. I mean, you mentioned it earlier. Jenny Sims, Conference USA Player of the Week, had 35 against William and Mary, and then 18 against Charlotte. What do you think in the end has allowed Louisiana Tech to, they've really been pretty comfortable despite things getting hectic at times and Old Dominion putting up some great pressure defensively. This Louisiana Tech just kept their cool.
I think it's Brooke Pomeroy. She's a point guard that really is a calming factor. She's experienced. This team has bought into what she's brought to La Tech from Marquette, and I just think on the road that's so important.
And that's another reason right there that ODU has struggled. Destiny Young, the junior forward, has just not been her night. She normally makes those kind of baskets, averages 11 points per game, but 2 of 14 in this game from the field.
Yeah, she's been in double figures as far back as November 26th. And with only 5 points tonight, doesn't look like she's going to hit that mark.
Had a double-double, the win against Charlotte. Look at Sims. Hustles in there, fights for the rebound, gets it, and gets fouled.
She has no quit in her. If she can bring 1 or 2 players along with her, this would be a different Lady Monarchs team. But check out Jenny Sims. She's not just about pretty scoring. She'll get you dirty baskets, too.
Sims misses the free throw, gets the rebound, but tapped it right back into the hands of Ashley Santos, who's then fouled. Brandy Wingate did not start this game for Louisiana Tech, but We knew she'd be a factor, and she was.
She came in focused on her focus, unafraid of what the Lady Monarchs could bring defensively around the cup. Her face-up game was money. We're talking about one of the best players in Conference USA, and she brought her A game tonight on the road.
21 points for Wingate, 8 of 12 from the floor.
You know, she was telling us that she had so much growing up to do this season. And right around that UCLA game where she did not start, she said it was not looking pretty for her, and Tyler Summit really challenged her to take her game to the next level. And she said it was life-changing, not just on the court, but off the court. They say she's a totally different person and player in how she conducts herself.
And Coach Summit telling us that shoot-around today, he was challenging her again. That's why he chose not to start her in this game. He wasted no time in bringing her off the bench, but sometimes that's enough of a message, especially to your senior.
And she's responded, and that says a lot about Tyler Summit's relationship with these players that he has inherited, that they respond to him in a challenge and how hard they play for him.
Brandy Wingate, the Conference USA 6th Player of the Year a year ago, now the player for Louisiana Tech. Not to count out what Brooke Pomeroy has done. Another one of the captains, as you see what's coming up for the Lady Techsters. They'll head to Charlotte, then get a couple of games at home in conference play. Referees trying to get something cleaned up over at the scorer's table. They'll bring things to a halt here for a moment. Karen Barefoot and Old Dominion, here's what they have coming up. Whew, road trip coming after Southern Miss pays a visit. And then look at that, 4 straight on the road, including trips to Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky.
Yeah, you want to get your momentum right here while you're at home. So that's a big one against Southern Miss before you hit the road.
One minute on the clock as Sims has it blocked. Pomeroy comes up with it, finds Wingate. That'll probably be the easiest bucket she's had all night. 23 in the game for Brandy Wingate. 3 off her season high.
You come in without the player that's been playing point guard for you, and here Anthony is young is off again, but her second game without Anthony, who told me at halftime that her team need to continue to push. And they came through. That's depth in the backcourt.
And here Anthony, we talked about it earlier, a player who's so frustrated she can't be out there with her team, but happy to see them out in front. She got a concussion not too long ago in practice and hasn't been cleared yet, although Coach Summit saying he hoped to get her back for the Charlotte game.
Foul starts with Lady Techsters, number 25, Brandy Wingate.
25 to shoot for White. 23 points, 3 of 7.
See Kiera Anthony and some of her information for Louisiana Tech.
So fun to watch. Leads the team in assists. She's got great energy and transition. It's tough to be a freshman point guard.
About 10-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock as Old Dominion gets the ball back. Sims stops. Hines Brown. Sims will go ahead and take the 3. That shot has not been there for Sims or Old Dominion all night long. Sims now 0 of 6 from downtown.
Lady Techsters foul charge number 32, Kevin Oakland, that's her 3rd.
And you get the feeling Karen Barefoot's probably going to be going back and looking at a lot of those threes with China, and as they figure out what they need to do coming into this game.
The difficult thing is the more film there is on you, the more teams can scout you in conference and get your strengths and weaknesses figured out, and definitely helps the next opponent. But Karen Barefoot very passionate about getting her team on the mend. I mean, they've had injured players, they've had suspensions, They lost a point guard that they thought was going to return this season. So they've gone through some growing pains.
Lane violation will give Young a chance at the free throw, but she just comes up empty again. Halapainen had the rebound, but Kevion Moten at 6'4", the tallest Lady Texter in a couple of years, since Margaret Deciman in 2006. Using her height on the glass, and then that's just about going to wrap it up. Louisiana Tech picking up its first win in Conference USA of the season. Pretty impressive what they did tonight.
Oh, yes, very impressive. Tyler Summit has to be happy about his team's toughness. Coming